Due to suggestive adult themes and dialogue, this podcast is intended for adults. In other words, the truth is ugly, so we get ugly right along with it. Everything we say is out of love for ourselves, our people, and our community. Sincerely, the Green Route.
And stop the damn dancing! Act like you got some goddamn sense, people!
Black people don't hope, we wish. We wish a motherfucker would be in our shit.
As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
All right, y'all, I want to welcome y'all to episode 15 of the Green Route podcast.
Yes.
Thank y'all for tuning in with us on live. I am GS.
And I'm Marlissa. What's up, y'all? Welcome back.
So, again, we are doing 30-minute hit and runs. Starting out, what's the rundown? What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so the rundown, it's another busy week. So we are going to talk about, that's kind of good news, but we'll see. So after years and years, 60 schools are piloting an AP, African American History and Studies class across the U.S., so that's kind of cool. Definitely want to talk about Dennis Rodman planning to go over there and try to help Ricky Grinder.
Handling business. Shout out to Dennis Rod.
We want to talk about this crazy Dallas storm, but in particular how that was impacted, or how our help is being impacted by anti-climate change policy in D.C. We just sent another $3 billion to Ukraine, so we want to talk about that package.
Send some more aid to them.
And then the last thing we want to talk about is probably the biggest news this week. It's the student loan cancellation that Biden just announced. So definitely want to dig into that.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it.
Let's go into this AP African Americans history course. So, y'all, GS actually he put me on game. So he sent me a link yesterday, and I read up on it. And I want to point out that this is the first time in America that our students, our kids, and I don't want to just say our kids, but children of every race, every creed, will be able to have an AP African American history class taught. So there are 60 schools piloting it across the nation. We're actually trying to see if there's some schools here in Dallas so that we can go sit in and see what these lessons are looking like.
That would be dope.
Yeah, but I'm gonna pass it to you, GS. Like, what do you know about it?
Okay, so what I do know about you've already stated the facts on it. It's something that has been in the works for many years now, and it's now become something that's official. I want to say the first state, crazy enough, it started in Florida, where it's actually started in Florida. I think Florida, for sure, California, New York, and a few other states.
Okay.
Damn sure, I don't know about Texas yet. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything in there about Texas having AP Black History courses, but it's something that's been a long time coming, and I would like to say it's the first in the education realm, the first of many new, potentially future educational black lashes. Okay. But surprisingly, you know how like the white lash was them cutting off, CRT, cutting off a lot of the major figures and information about the past concerning Black history, concerning LGBTQ, anything that they deemed too provocative or too liberal or too forward in thinking. So
too woke. Let Florida tell it. Yeah.
Yes, let them tell it. So I'm actually very happy about this. I'm glad we're finally getting like an official curriculum that's happening within the education system.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no, it's dope. And I mean, as someone who was taught African American history at home, because we did not have, and I went to black schools. I want to point that out in Los Angeles. I went to school in the Crenshaw area, so very black. But we didn't really have classes specific to our history. So as someone who was taught it at home, it's good to know that not only will our kids get it in a formal setting, and apparently it's going to be taught by like, at first, some college level professors. So I know there's a Florida State University professor who was going to be one of the first to kind of help roll out this pilot down in Florida. So that's dope. And then hopefully from there, like, you know, as the course takes shape, and really I'm hoping it's fluid so that they can add, you know, what really needs to be in there and remove kind of the fluffy stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping as it takes shape, other students will become more involved and more interested. So it's not just black, because it is American history.
It's American
like
history.
we need to keep saying that. Like, this is American history. This is not just about black people. We have been in this place since before the founding. Let's be clear. Since before the founding.
Before this was even a place.
That's right. Before they even knew about it, we was over here. So I'm hoping other students will get involved. And I would love to see what the backlash is going to look like, because there will be some.
There is going to be some. Yeah. I would say one thing that I hope that will happen in the future, so that we can all kind of get together. I hope that they have like some kind of mass, it's a specific word for it, but mass conference on this, so that they can get like a consistent curriculum throughout the United States. So that I in my mind, as a former educator, what I would like, and this is my last part on it, what I would like is for it to have two components in terms of the historical, like something generally that everybody should know, all youth, all children, school-age children should know, but then also a component on there that directly deals with the history of where they are, like within their state. Within their cities. So
localize some of that.
Localize history as well. What's happened there. So that's what I would hope.
Yeah, no, that's really cool actually. I like that point. So being from California, I'm trying to figure out what that would have looked like for me.
That would
like
be
the Great Migration.
That would be them telling the history of Black people migrating to California, the history of Leimert Park. You know what I'm saying? All of that.
Even Black Cowboys, right? Because like we got raised from that, like the Gold Rush and all of that. So yeah, I like that. I never even thought about it that way. So a national level and then localize it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, cool. So y'all, anybody who knows about a school in Dallas or in Texas even that is doing this, like, please let us know. We would love to go audit that class and just kind of figure out what it is as it takes shape. I know it's very early on, but the Green Route would love to be in the room to kind of figure out what these kids are being taught. So yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Let's talk about this $3 billion that we just sent over to Ukraine.
All right.
So this is the largest package thus far. The reason I really put this on here to be messy and petty, to be honest. Because every time we talk about Ukraine, I feel like I know a motherfucker that owe me money ain't planning a war.
I know. These niggas, all the reparations talk and
where's the money coming from, JoJo?
We don't know. They found it from somewhere. We don't know. But I'll say this. The shelling is getting worse out there. It's getting, I think President Zelensky, I think he said that they've lost, since the start, they've lost 3,000 Ukrainian troops. So they need help.
Well, 100%. So I have to be very careful when I talk about Ukraine, because shout out to the German Marshall Fund. I have done work over there.
Right.
But a couple things we should know is that this is truly a proxy war for us. We are helping them to fund and fight this war. We are sending weapons, all of that. Hence the discussion that we are going to have about Brittany Griner, in a minute. But I do want to point out that, and have you heard this, that there are members of neo-Nazi groups from America who have traveled to Ukraine to fight?
Well, I did hear about that. I've also heard about how Russia has been utilizing their own neo-Nazi groups within their country to fight as well. And the thing about it is, a big part of what Russia said that they were trying to do was denazify Ukraine. A big part of their rationale for invading there is to remove that right wing, that Nazi ideology from Ukraine, because they feel like Ukraine is just allowing it to go. And let's be clear here. Those groups are prevalent in Ukraine.
Oh yeah.
And those groups are also prevalent in Russia.
Okay, so I was waiting for that point right there.
So they kind of cancel each other out in my mind.
It's the pot calling the kettle black at this point.
Well, we know that Russia in this sense is not thinking like that. They full of shit. Like they're not trying to denazify Ukraine. They're trying to get back to old Russia.
Yes, they want their Soviet, where we can all be together. I mean, it is, when we talk about Taiwan, this is not very different. Yeah. Like when we think about
what's happening with China and what they're doing over there, it's a grab for property. It's a grab for real estate. A lot of it does have ties to access to certain what's the word I'm looking for? passageways, like the one that's closest to Ukraine, like Ukraine, Taiwan. These are places that are connected to like the largest ports in the world. So they know that if we have access to that, if we actually not only access, but if we have control over that, then we control a lot of what's happening around the world.
The even the fields, right? So in Ukraine, like those fields are ripe for wheat growing. If I have control of that, I mean that changes everything. And so you're 100% right. As much as the media would like us to think that, we just want to be one big happy family again. It is definitely about wealth and about resource control and about land control. Hence why they annexed Crimea. Was that back in 2012? 2014? Yeah. So y'all, we just sent another $3 billion over there. And again, this is not new news. We keep sending aid. My big issue here is the why. We're so heavily involved.
Well, I mean, it's again going back to the money, going back to the land grab, going back to the access to those port cities, those port areas. We don't want any other country to have more power than they already do, especially if it's like a power that's not considered an ally. Again, the 3 top countries that are not considered allies but have hella power: Russia,
China,
Iran, China. And anything we can do to kind of to nix that, anything we can do to empower another group that empowers us, we for that. We gonna do that.
Instead of just not fucking with people, you know what I mean? Like, we just don't have the hey, let's not roll over there and get into business. That we just don't have that as a country.
Again, it's the money, because again, America has been involved in proxy wars for the last few years. America has been involved in coups in other countries. Hell, Haiti still.
I'm about to say there's one that we need to go on and probably talk about. Haiti.
Yeah.
Oh, we was.
Yeah.
What were they screaming when they ran up in that man's house? CIA.
All right, y'all.
Before we get shot.
We get cut out.
Sunshine, sunshine, tell me where you are. 'Cause I need you to get me through my life.